This is Renelle, and welcome to Quality Hang with Rod Brooks and friends. And here he is now, your host, my main man, Rod Brooks.
Thank you very much, Renelle, and welcome everyone to A Quality Hang. I am Rod Brooks, and today I am joined on this broadcasting adventure by my man, Matt Kolsky. He is in for Marcus Osborne today. Matt was on with us a few weeks ago, and Matt's the homie. We enjoyed it so much, and Matt had the time on a Friday night. I guess he got the kids to bed early, and he said, yeah, man, I'd be down to fill in for Marcus on this episode of Quality Hang. So my man, Matt Kolsky, welcome, and thank you very much, my brother, for filling in today.
My pleasure as always. And look, the kids are still young enough. I don't even have to get them to bed early. It works out well.
And you are here on a Friday free-for-all. We will get into all of the Friday free-for-all goofiness, but as always, we start the show by thanking our presenting sponsor, Hop Monk Taverns. 3 locations to choose from: Sonoma, Sebastopol, and in Novato. And at all 3 locations, you get the same great things. You get great food from a diverse menu, great craft beer selection, and for me, the best part about Hop Monk Taverns is their dedication to live music at all 3 venues. And you can see everything from national touring acts coming through the North Bay to the local scene. And I think that's what's best about Hop Monk, is that it is a place, what Dean Biersch has built with all 3 locations and his partners, that it's a place, Hop Monk Taverns, for local artists to see and be seen. So to see what's coming up at Hop Monk as far as their live music is concerned, check them out online at hopmonk.com for their hours or any information you may need. Again, hopmonk.com, and definitely follow them on all of the socials. All right, my brother, let's get into it. It's a Friday free-for-all, but we will do a little bit of sporting news here first. The Giants, who had just recently gotten swept at home by the Miami Marlins after winning 2 out of the 3 from the Boston Red Sox. And there was a lot of excitement with the trade and the acquisition of Rafael Devers. The Giants were on to bigger and better things, beating the Red Sox, even though the Red Sox are what they were a few years ago, beating the Red Sox and all the things that surrounded that, with Devers being traded from the Red Sox to the Giants. Everybody felt like the Giants, who were obviously on an upward track, had some momentum, and then they dropped 3 in a row, all at home to the Miami Marlins. So what fixes that? And Matt, this is where you come in, being a long-suffering White Sox fan. What fixes that? Go see the Chicago White Sox. If you're having any problems winning baseball games, go see the Chicago White Sox, who, while they're not the Colorado Rockies, the Chicago White Sox aren't good. So what the Giants do, it was a bit of torture, but you're kind of getting used to that right now if you're a Giants fan. The Giants did win that bad boy 3-1, if my memory serves me correctly, and the Giants start a 10-game road trip with a victory on the south side of Chicago, getting the first of 3 over the weekend. So, Matt, again, I know you're a long-suffering and currently very angry Chicago White Sox fan, but I think I can speak on behalf of all Giants fans. They appreciated that tonight. They needed that very badly.
Yeah, in this case, I'm happy to help. It is until Jerry Reinsdorf's name is removed from all organizational material, I won't even. Unlike a certain mutual friend of ours, I don't torture myself with that particular baseball team, and I certainly would never bet the over on their season total. I'll tell you that much.
No. So, when is Reinsdorf going to sell it? I mean, is he looking for
the whole thing? No, you haven't seen this? It's done.
No.
But it's like an extended. Yeah, they just announced it, but I don't think it got a lot of press because it's confusing. Jerry Reinsdorf, here's the headline is announces framework for potential sale of White Sox. But it's to Ishbia's brother. It's the psychopath,
the owner of the Sun.
Owner's brother, Justin, is allegedly the option opens to sell the controlling interest as soon as 2029, but is guaranteed by 2034. It's very convoluted, but fingers crossed. Hopefully Jerry Reinsdorf's the heck out of at least one of my favorite teams in the near future.
So your self-imposed White Sox fan exile could continue I mean,
Yeah.
seemingly indefinitely.
Yeah, and listen, I'm weak and I'm sad. So if they start playing well, obviously that will also end the self-imposed ban.
Listen, any sports fan who says that they don't have shifting morals, okay, is lying to you. All
That's
right.
yeah.
Because your opinion about certain people, whether it's the owner, the manager, players, or whatever, all starts winning. I was saying to, I was talking to our man Bonte Hill, jack of all trades and master of quite a few of them over at
Yeah.
NBC Sports Bay Area. I did the post game show yesterday with him and Rich Aurelia, and we were talking, and you know there were people who were saying that they wouldn't watch the Warriors anymore, and they were done being Warrior fans when Monte Ellis was traded, and understand them being upset, but obviously. That's listen, the Warriors had done so much bad prior to the Monte Ellis trade, and most of that bad was by Chris Cohan, that all of a sudden the Monte trade is when you decide that you're not going to watch. I didn't believe them then, and of course they kept watching because, well, eventually the Warriors became the hottest thing in the NBA. So, yeah, when you start winning, whatever problem you have with the team or the people who run it or the people who own it or the people who populate it, all of that is like shifting sand if they start to win. Here's the deal, though. You get to keep your White Sox fandom, exile morals because the White Sox ain't winning shit. So
not for a while. We've got a nice long runway. And to the guy in the comments, you know what? Yeah. If you give me some guys that will be Luis Robert in like 7 years when the White Sox have a chance to be good again, you can have him too. I don't care. I'm angry. Honestly, the day I really got angry was the day Tim Anderson left town. I just have a lot of fury towards the organization, and congratulations to the Giants. You deserve it.
So I was going to ask you, but you haven't seen these bad boys. I was going to ask you what you thought of the White Sox City Connect jerseys. That
I haven't even seen them. So I'm
just
excited.
The jerseys. It's the whole get up. It's the hat. It's the jersey. It's the pants. Okay, so you're going to see this for the first time in real time. And by the way, with Matt being a Chicago guy, it even though they're the White Sox and the Cubs are winning, the Cubs are doing well. By the way, my Astros took care of the Cubs tonight, so there you go. Great. It's still hard to avoid a team when you're living in that city. So for you to avoid anything White Sox, I listen. I know, I get that, but still. You're in Chicago. You at some point in time would have had to have seen one of these jerseys.
Oh,
these are the White Sox City Connect jerseys. I would think you've seen this hat and these jerseys around town.
I'm not mad at the hat.
The hat's cool.
Mad at the jersey. I'm pretty mad at the jersey.
So that's where I was going to go. And I'll give you. Not only will I give you the pants, but I will give you and everybody else out there the City Connects before, with your homie Tim Anderson, before he got punched in the face and then everything went downhill for him. So these were the City Connects prior to this year, and I like these. And here's why I like them. First off, one color. The multicolor thing, it doesn't. I don't like it, which is part of the reason why I don't like the Giants City Connects. But I like the monocolor. And it keeps the team color. Okay, that's White Sox black. Got some silver in there. Got some white. All right. The White Sox have been rocking that for 30 years now. I mean, did they do it in the 90s because it was hot, because of the Raiders and all that kind of stuff? Yes, they changed it because of that. But that's, to me, traditional Chicago White Sox garb. Totally fair, right? This new stuff, now
that's a Bulls jersey.
That's a Bull. Thank you.
Yeah. It's a Bulls baseball jersey,
right? With black pants.
And if they were gonna do that, I would have leaned into it and gone with the script Chicago from the old Bulls road jerseys, because that at least looks cool. Yeah, that's bad. That's a bad shirt. It's a bad vest. I bet actually, I would rock if they took the vest off and it was just a black shirt with those.
No, I think that's just no. I think that's just a shirt.
No, I know it is, but I'm saying in an imaginary world, if you just turned the whole red vest part into black, I would wear that T-shirt. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like black T-shirt with the wing logo. I don't hate the wing logo. Although, again, is it like, have they declared that this is a Bulls thing? because it's just very much a Bulls thing.
Yes, yeah, it's 100%. It is a Bulls mashup, and
That's like the Air Jordan wing on the White Sox.
That's exactly what they're doing.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, to be fair, it's Nike, so I guess that's,
Yeah, but the White Sox had to sign off on that. I mean, old man Reinsdorf and his his, I guess he's got kids who are involved.
He's got kids. Something tells me Jerry Reinsdorf doesn't care enough to weigh in on design elements of the City Connect jersey.
You never know. Watching them, because this is the first time I've seen them before, or I saw the picture that we're looking at right now of the new White Sox City Connect. I had not seen them in action because, like you, I haven't watched the Chicago White Sox. Yeah. Now, it's for different reasons. You're boycotting them because Jerry Reinsdorf still owns them. I'm not watching the White Sox because what I'm looking for. That's right, they're the White Sox. Why would I watch them? So tonight against the Giants was the first time I'd seen them running around in their City Connects, and every time I looked at the television, it angered me. I just didn't like it. I didn't like it. It offended me.
Luis Robert looks angry in the photograph we're looking at. He's like, I can't believe you guys have me in this. You really have me posing in this jersey right now.
I'm only doing this so I don't get fined. So so there you go. I like the previous ones better. And just again, the going against the team colors and the black pants. You need to be one color, okay? All black, all white, all gray, all light blue, all dark blue. I don't care. But just for me, different color pants, different color jersey, you just look like a softball team to me.
It does look very city softball.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to lie. If I went to like Thursday night softball league and the opposing team showed up with that,
it'd be badass.
Pretty high.
Yeah. You're losing 25-0.
That's absolutely right. Yeah, exactly.
Or you might beat them 25-0, but you're not beating them as far as looking good. But for a professional baseball team. And I'm the Giants City Connect, I don't know if you've seen them. There's purple in it. If you haven't seen it, there's hints of purple, which why would that have any association with the San Francisco Giants? Anytime you deviate away from the team colors, I can't rock with it. I cannot rock with it.
Well, I will say I agree generally, have agreed, I should say, in my life with that statement. Has Premier League fandom affected your thought process on that?
If anything, no, if anything, now being a soccer fan, West Ham United, let's not get relegated this year, please. It's only hardened my stance on. Okay, yeah. I guess I'm a uniform traditionalist, all right? And this is my hang up. Okay, I'll be the first to admit that I'm a uniform traditionalist, while understanding that the way it used to be is as dead as John F. Kennedy. All right, in the NBA, you don't wear white at home and color on the road. Matter of fact, you wear color at home. Matter of fact, both teams might even be playing in uniforms that have nothing to do with the traditional colors of whatever teams we happen to be watching, or whatever teams.
Sometimes they're opposite.
Sometimes they're opposite. Exactly. So I'm understanding that in the NBA, especially, down is up and up is down. But now, watching European soccer and seeing some of these third kits, it only and how they've gotten worse. And how they've taken the traditional kits and started to goof around with them. Yeah. It has only hardened my thought that there needs to be some sort of adherence to tradition when it comes to uniforms, because when you start throwing too much out there, and the NBA is finally figuring this out, although the dog may have already just completely bolted out of the yard and is chasing down the car that's driving down the street, is that there's so much stuff out there. There's so much content out there. And I'm not just talking about this type of content. There's just so much content, period, out there that I really do think that people are now starting to gravitate back towards things being sort of simpler and traditional, because you can identify it. In the PSG Inter Champions League match,
right. Yeah,
I don't know what the hell Inter Milan was wearing, but it was yellow and blue, I think. Now, I've only started watching European soccer over the last 15, 18 years, but I know full well that Inter Milan does not wear yellow and blue. You dig what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know what they were running around in there. So yeah, so being, watching soccer now, it doesn't make me feel any better about how we're just saying tradition wise,
Right.
it doesn't matter. Just throw anything there. We're just trying to sell jerseys and shirts.
Well, you're right about that. What's old is always new again, eventually. And by the way, speaking of what's old being new, we have a very delightful still frame of you in the video screen, sort of reaching towards
Thank
us
you.
earnestly. Yeah, exactly. I I was thinking initially, obviously, when I asked the question, soccer gets weird. Maybe that helps. But then I thought about Chelsea's third kit from a couple of years ago that was like a weird spearmint toothpaste color.
What are you doing? Right. Yeah.
Yeah, it's getting weird out there, but you're probably right. Like, you spin out to a really weird point, and then everyone's like, you know what would be a nice change from this ugly weirdness is like the old school,
Yeah.
simple.
Funny how that works.
Yeah.
Funny how that works. Matt, you are about to learn something about me, and it's okay. I'm not going to overshare. It's all right. I didn't bring you here to spill my guts out.
Okay.
But you are about to learn that I am mildly obsessed with Victor Wembanyama's China trip that he is still embarking on, communing with the Shaolin monks.
Yeah.
And Wembanyama's been over there for a while, and this ain't no joke. He's not over there to sightsee. He's not over there because he's trying to get that good content. There's that word again. Victor Wembanyama is over there getting his mind right because Steph Curry broke him in the Olympics last summer, right? And he still has to recover from that.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I think he's gone to China to commune with the Shaolin monks, because he's trying to get the specter of Steph Curry, stabbing him in the heart with that golden dagger in the Olympics in Paris, to where Victor Wembanyama was crying to his mama. Well, we have fresh Victor Wembanyama video, and he has taken this match extremely seriously.
Weezy out of here. Weezy out of here.
This is from Wembanyama's Instagram account. Okay, let's stop here. Hang on. I knew he was serious when he got the baldy.
Yeah.
I knew he's not over there, this sitting for Nike, this sitting for show. He's over there trying to get on a different level. Dig what I'm saying?
Right, and this is not like I shave my head every month anyway. This
right.
is
exactly.
This is all new. Yeah.
No. He when you let a dude that you don't know rock you down a baldy,
yeah,
you are either going into the military, in jail, or as Victor Wembanyama is doing, communing with monks in a faraway foreign land. So again, this is from Victor Wembanyama's Instagram account. By the way, the music, the Gunna in the background, don't make me like you, Victor Wembanyama. That's very interesting what you're doing. All right, so we'll keep it going. All right, calisthenics makes sense. Okay. See right there? You know what he's thinking about? Whooping Steph Curry's ass right there. Yeah. That's what's going on in Victor Wembanyama's mind, is getting back at Steph Curry. I think we're all in trouble.
Everyone is in trouble. The whole basketball world is in trouble. Are you kidding me with this? Although, the first thing I thought of when I saw that last picture, the actual Kung Fu picture,
go back.
I don't know. Did anything pop to mind for you? Because
absolutely. You and I are thinking the same thing, and I'm sure folks who are watching are thinking the exact same thing as well. To the listeners, I'm sorry, but Victor Wembanyama is doing it. I don't know if it's Kung Fu pose, but he's kicking his leg up high in the air. First thing I thought of, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in the 1978 cinematic classic with film. Bruce Lee, Game of Death. Yeah. Absolutely.
Bruce Lee's like going up to each level of the thing. He's got to fight a guy, and then all of a sudden there's Kareem. And I was like, oh man, his leg is very straight. Like, that is good Kung Fu form from Victor Wembanyama. And he does, and it took this for me to think about it, but like, if there is a comp for Victor Wembanyama, it's Kareem. He's like this very thoughtful, reads books in the locker room. He's in China getting down with the Buddhist monks, practicing Shaolin Kung Fu. Like, this is very Kareem-y sort of stuff, and also the psychotic competitor part of it.
Dude, you are 100% correct. So we'll keep it going here. I'm gonna get Steph. He said that in a French accent,
man.
I will assume. All right, so now here we go. Okay, yeah. See, you're right. He's on the Kareem path. By the way, let's go back to that. First off, as a child, and I didn't see it in theaters. I saw it years later. But as a child, seeing Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Bruce Lee fight is like a kid's fever dream. It's the best thing. Like it's something a child would think of. What if Bruce Lee? What if the greatest martial artist of all time and the greatest basketball player of all time got together in a fight, and then it happened? And we saw it. And Kareem got that work. All right, let's keep it funky. Bruce Lee beat his ass. Okay? He beat his ass. So there's Victor engaging in some hand-to-hand combat. He's got a staff. Yeah, it's hey, has Adam Silver been informed about this?
Is this even legal?
Okay. All right. He's worried about the draft and he's talking about he's going to use AI, not Allen Iverson, artificial intelligence, although using Allen Iverson would make as much sense as using artificial intelligence to try and figure out why guys are snapping their Achilles tendons. I can tell you why guys are snapping their Achilles tendons. A lot of basketball game, and the basketball game they do play, there's a lot of movement going on, and there's only so much load these tendons can handle. Give me $1 million, please. Anyway, they don't need to be worried about all that. Victor Wembanyama is training with sticks. All right? He's doing karate with Shaolin monks that he allowed to cut his head. The league is in trouble.
This is like the montage in the film where after the hero is defeated in the beginning, all the villains are celebrating on one side, and then it just cuts to the montage that he's just training. He's Rocky in the snow. That's the vibe that this has, and it's terrifying.
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Oklahoma City Thunder just running through the streets of Oklahoma City, just happy and carefree. Whoopee! We won a title.
Dylan Harper is like a very mature young man with a pretty NBA-ready game. Stephon Castle in year 2.
Yeah.
Full off season with De'Aaron Fox there.
Yeah.
Like, that's not
Spurs going to be a problem, dog.
Yeah. God, there's just so few non-problems in the Western Conference. It really is something else.
And by the way, the Spurs have a 7'6" alien with handles and a fairly wet jump shot who is currently training with Shaolin monks to get his body
Donatello right now
and his mind right. So we are in trouble. All right, see what else we got here. Keep going. Okay. Yeah. I mean, it gets worse. All right. I don't know what else to say. All right. This is a red alert situation for fans of every team except for the San Antonio Spurs.
Mm-mm.
Your best player is doing this. Now, you're probably saying that ain't got nothing to do with basketball. You're right. It didn't have anything to do with actually playing basketball. He was already pretty goddamn good at that. But now he's just getting all the other stuff as good as his basketball game. We are cooked.
Who think you feeling? You're not new to it.
It's up. Game of Death, 1978. Bruce Lee, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. It's right there. I mean, I don't.
Right in front of you.
I don't know. I don't know what else to say. What more do you want from me? We are in trouble. Does Kevin Durant know anything about this? Probably not. All right, he's arranging to get his belongings to Houston. They don't know that Victor Wembanyama is out here kicking walls, concrete walls. Oh boy! All right.
I was getting on the wood. I cut for wood, but I came out there.
Oh, and then he hit you with the hard guy pick in front of is that Chairman Mao?
Oh, it's got
at the Forbidden City. It's just a guess. I don't know. I never been there, but I think it's Chairman Mao, Forbidden City. Now he's got the hard guy pick. Yeah, it's nice knowing you, NBA. It's his league now. Man. Everybody else just doesn't know it.
It's already I assume most of the people who are quality hanging with you have seen a little bit of Victor Wembanyama. It's still almost hard to reconcile the physical presence he is on the court. But there's never a point in learning about him or like the next thing he does where you're like, oh, maybe it won't be terrifying.
Right.
It's gonna be. He's gonna own the league for a while.
Yeah.
I think.
Everything about this should send chills up your spine if you're not a Spurs fan. If you're a Spurs fan, you're like, this is the best thing in the world. Everybody else, you should be very afraid. There's nothing whimsical about this. All right. This man is coming to get what he thinks is his.
Mm-hmm.
And he's going to do it with a French accent. So, hey, man, tried to warn people. I tried to be the canary in the coal mine. If no one wants to listen to me,
the only part that
fine.
doesn't totally sit right with me is the French accent, but I'll get over it.
I mean, well, you ain't gonna have no choice. Okay. All right. You're gonna get your ass beat by a guy who plays with Legos, who's a Star Wars nerd, and who is now getting his mind right with Shaolin monks. So I don't know.
I don't know. The Lego thing. Hey, maybe the Lego thing gets my kid more into basketball. The only non-warrior that my child is aware of at the moment is Miles Turner, largely because he's got a remarkable Lego collection.
Yeah, which if I had his money and his childlike sensibilities, and I feel like I do, I would have a pretty sick ass Lego collection too.
Yeah,
but what I would do though, because I am, at my core, very lazy. If I had Miles Turner and his money to go along with my childlike sensibilities and my love of Lego, I would get it and then pay somebody else to build it, and then I would just display it. Because I don't, the thrill of building it, that didn't do it for me. To me, that's just busy work. I want somebody else to do that.
Well, I can tell you, because we did watch a video about Miles Turner and his Legos on YouTube. He does enjoy assembling Legos, and he has assembled some wildly impressive Legos himself. He also, though, has a full-size, like Miles Turner size Darth Vader Lego assembled, and he did in fact pay a guy to do that one. Okay, it's like thousands upon thousands upon thousands of pieces, and it was a custom job that he paid.
All that is proper allocation of one's funds.
Yeah.
That's what you're supposed to do when you're rich. Pay other people to do stuff you don't want to do.
Well, it's a matter of efficiency, right? Yeah, his time is better spent elsewhere.
Yeah. Listen, there's a reason people get gardeners. Okay. All right. Some people.
As someone who does his own gardening, let me tell you that is absolutely true.
Yeah, I know it's true. Free for All Friday continues. Matt Kolsky in for Marcus Osborne on this Free for All Friday. Should it be Free for All Friday? I'll ask you, and I'll ask the quality hangers, because the chat is active, as it normally is on a Friday night. So we see all you guys there. Should it be Friday Free for All, or should it be Free for All Friday? Like which one hits the hardest? Or am I overthinking this?
Well, you're definitely overthinking it.
Okay, I knew that. It was a rhetorical question.
But yeah, I'm here. I mean, what are we doing if not putting a lot of serious thought into unserious
serious things?
Yeah, I think they both sound good, is the good news.
Okay.
Friday Free for All feels right to me.
Okay.
But I wouldn't be mad at Free for All Friday. Like, they both have a nice, I mean, look, I love alliteration in almost any form is really what it comes down to.
I feel like I have to pick one and then stick with it. Because if I go, I was already talking about how I don't like, uniforms not being uniform. I can't be a hypocrite and be like, well, today it's Free for All Friday, and the next week it's Friday Free for All. I kind of feel like I need to walk it like I'm talking it.
Right.
And yes, I am very much overthinking this. So alliteration is good, but Friday Free for All for you hits your ears better than the opposite.
Okay. I think so. I think if I had to make a choice, I would go Friday Free for All. But I also think if I was you, I would forget and each week torture myself over which one it was supposed to be. That's just kind of how my brain operates, you know what I mean?
See, DC says Friday Free for All. Christian says Free for All Friday. Oh my God, I'm having an existential crisis.
Yeah. Now that you opened it up, like each different answer is just going to send us spiraling.
That's all that's going to happen. I'm just going to wake up in a pool of my own sweat in the middle of the night going, I don't know which one to choose.
Free Friday for All. Oh God, what have I done?
All of a sudden, I turn into Sid Barrett. I can't handle it anymore. It's too much, and I just go crazy. And then hopefully someone will write a song about me that people will sing for 50 years. Okay. Matt, because you're a hip hop guy, what the Double XL magazine freshman class is, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
I remember some really good ones
Okay.
from
There
longer
you
ago
go.
than I would like to say.
There you go. So for those who don't know, there is a hip hop magazine, hip hop music and lifestyle magazine called Double XL, XXL. And every year they put out a group, a class of new rappers, call them the freshman class of whatever year. And they started doing this back in 2007. Oh, and some of you are probably wondering, what is a magazine? Ask your parents. Actually, ask your grandparents. We don't have time to cover that right now. But some of the former members of the Double XL freshman classes, and again, this goes all the way back to 2007, Lupe Fiasco, Wale, Kid Cudi, J. Cole, Nipsey Hussle, Kendrick Lamar. There's some other not as great names on that list, like Machine Gun Kelly. So it's not a perfect list by any stretch of the imagination. But the Double XL freshman class, you have gotten some names on there that have gone to be great artists, and obviously, Kendrick right now being at the top of the list this year. So anyway, so they came out with the Double XL freshman class, and I am going to put up put it up here. These are the pictures of the freshman class. Okay. All right. You got a lady in there, you got a couple of white boys in there, you got you got all types of folks represented. So Matt, here's what we're gonna do though. I'm gonna read you the names of these hip-hop artists, this Double XL freshman class of 2025. And I'm gonna put them up on the screen as well. And all you have to do, Matt, is tell me if it's a real name of one of these rappers, one of these hip hop artists, or if it's a fake name. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
I just, before I embarrass myself with this half, I just want to point out that four of the 5 people at the top who are already established artists, I do know.
Yes. Oh yeah. We know Key Glock, Tech Nine from KC and Larry June. Absolutely. Yeah.
Amine, also pretty good. I like Amine. I do not know Monaleo. But yeah, I have a feeling I'm going to go 0 first, so let's get it going. Here we go.
Now, see, you're selling yourself short there, dog.
Okay.
Because
I do know Jello. You're right.
See,
you're right.
You're doing all that.
I'm not going to know. I know which one. I even know which one Jello is because he's the bandana on the top left, right?
He's the freakishly tall guy in the back. Yes, between the 2 X's. There you go.
Right.
Okay. So here's another. Maybe it is a name. Maybe it's not.
I even know the song. Wow, that's good. Ian. That's not a name. There's not an Ian.
Okay. Yes, there's an Ian.
Dang it.
Now, which one of these?
I moved too fast. As soon as I said that's not it, I was like, it's got to be one.
You flew too close to the sun.
Oh man, I was like, I'm rolling with Jello. Quick decision. No.
Now, I don't know which one is Ian for sure. My guess is the young lady in the upper right corner is not Ian. And if I had to pick one, probably gonna have to pick the white guy at the corner with it down at the bottom, sticking his finger at everybody. The other white kid with the money, with the money loaf in his face.
Like a Machine Gun Kelly, if you will.
Exactly. Yeah, he just doesn't strike me as an Ian, but but yes, Ian is a name. All right, here we go. Real freshman class 2025 name or not? Laser Dim 700.
See, now you're already messing with me with 2 names in.
Laser Dim 700. Is this a real rapper? I did not make that up. That is a real name for one of these rappers. Again, which one?
You're in my head already because you went Ian first, and then
just read the names, dog.
Oh boy.
Okay, wow. All right. Okay, here we go. Ray Vaughn, real Double XL freshman class of 2025 rapper, or did I just pull a name out of the phone book? What's the phone book? Ask your parents. Actually, ask your grandparents. Ray Vaughn.
Definitely your grandparents on the phone book. Not real. Not real Ray Vaughn.
Real person, real name. Which one? Don't know. Okay, moving on. Nino Paid.
That's the white guy with the cash.
That would be my guess. The prop does sort of lean that way that he would be one. And I don't know. I feel pretty good with your guess.
Real.
but that's a real name. Nino Pate.
Okay.
Real name. All right. Low
Honestly,
Shimmy.
that's the Nino Pate is the most like that could have been a rapper at any time in my life name that we've heard so far.
I mean, I'm surprised that we didn't get that Nino Pate mixtape back in the early 2000s. Like that didn't just, rotate around.
Like after I can't believe I'm blanking on the movie. The Tupac, not the Wesley Snipes. Nino Brown.
The drug movie. Now you got me blanking on it. Now you got me in my head. Are you my brother's keeper? Sit your $5 ass down before I make some change. The Carter Projects.
Okay.
Yeah, that one.
Okay.
Low Shimmy.
Low Shimmy. Okay, I feel like I'm onto it. That's a real rapper.
That is a real name. Which one? Don't know. Here we go. Eam Triplin.
You stop it. No, that's not real. I refuse to believe that's real.
It's a real name.
Oh,
could be a Star Wars character as well. Or
really
like a planet. Like they went to the Eam Triplin system and that's where they fought the Dagobots or something. That sounded vaguely racist, Dagobots, but you know what I mean. Eam Triplin, real name. Which one? Don't know. All right. We got a couple more here. Baby Chief Do It.
No, that Chief spelled wrong. That's real.
Okay. Chief is spelled wrong because I spelled it wrong.
Okay,
that's an actual name. That's an actual name. 1900 Rugrat. 1900 Rugrat.
I mean, they're all real, right? This has got to be real.
That's a real one. YTB Fat.
Yeah, that's real. That's two. These are all real. I can't believe some of these.
Samara Sin.
Okay, that's just her name, right? I think we know who that is.
I think that could be the young lady. And bonus on the beats, Cardo Got Wings. You want to? Is it real or am I making that up? No, you're on to the game. These are all of the names of the Triple XL freshman class of 2025.
Do it.
None of those names were made up. Jello, Ian, Laserdem 700, Ray Vaughn, Nino Pate, Low Shimmy, Eam Triplin, Baby Chief Do It, 1900 Rugrat, YTB Fat, Samara Sin, and the last one, I forgot what it was. So there you go. Those are the names of the 2025 XL freshman class. And don't you all feel old?
Now I want to know. This is a very strange reaction, admittedly, but now I'm curious what the 2024 XXL freshman class was, and do I know them now?
No. I don't remember the names. I looked it up.
Okay, Big X the Plug is someone I know.
Right, but they were all just crazy. Just like these seem to be computer-generated names, where somebody said or fed into some sort of AI thing. Give me a hip hop name, and they came up with 1900 Rugrat.
Well, did you know? Fun fact, actually, related to that. Did you know Childish Gambino, Donald
It's
Glover,
computer generated? Yeah,
right. Comes from the Wu-Tang name generator, which I think we've all hung out with for a while. It is unbelievable. Some of these 1900. Well, honestly 1900 Rugrat was the least believable because it looks like 1900 Rugrat, and there's no way these kids know what a 1900 number is.
Maybe they didn't even know what the Rugrats are, but yeah, there you go.
Oh man, I think Rugrats made a comeback, but Baby Chief Do It. That's
Baby Chief Do It. Yes, yeah.
All one word. There's an old SNL sketch where Dana Carvey is doing his Ross Perot, and I can't honestly even remember who he's supposed to be interacting with and whether it was a guest or someone else, playing a character, but someone was wearing a Fat Farm sweatshirt and Dana Carvey as Ross Perot just went Fat Farm, spelled wrong. Interesting. And I think of that a lot now as I get old and see things like Baby Chief Do It. All Baby one Chief word, all caps.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, you know what? Thank God Kendrick is ruling hip hop right now, and the Clips are about to give us some heat here early next month. Slick Rick has put some stuff out. My favorite hip hop group, They just dropped something. I'll tell you about that near the at the end of the show with the best thing
Oh,
I heard today. But yeah, man, these new Thundercats, what they got going on right now, I can't call it, dog. It's
I hate
just
this
it's not for me.
Fosse. See that Fosse? You don't need to remind me of that. Like my kids aren't even old enough to call the 90s the late 1900s, but I've still heard it, and I don't need to think about that. It's too true, all too true.
No, think about it, and think about the darkness that is going to come with your impending death, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Well, that is more comforting than the 90s being called the late 1900s, frankly.
Oh, okay, all right.
The sweet release of darkness comforts me significantly when compared to the idea of my being born in the late not even that late in the 1900s, if we're honest. You know what I mean? It's not like I was born in the mid 90s, for God's sakes. It's oof, I'm old.
Yeah. The darkness is coming for us all. Free for all Friday, or Friday free for all. Again, I am betwixt and between. I don't know which one it should be. Clearly, I vacillate back and forth from segment to segment, but we continue. I found this to be interesting that Bumble, which I think was the female not alternative to Tinder, but it's more.
I think the lady has to
right?
reach out first.
Right.
I think.
Yeah. It was Tinder, but for the ladies, where I guess it's like what was it? A Sadie Hawkins dance? Boy, you want to talk about somebody just showing their age? Like, what's the one where the girl asks the guy out?
No,
Sadie
that
Hawkins
sounds
dance,
right. But I will admit, I think that was a little passé by the time I was in high school.
But I probably learned that from like a TV show I watched when I was a kid or something like that. But anyway, this is the one where the ladies make the overture. Bumble is planning to cut 30% of its workforce, hundreds of jobs. And for folks who are listening to Quality Hang, I'll just read this. Bumble CEO Whitney Wolfe Herd, which, by the way, is the most Bumble CEO name of all time, because of course her name would be Whitney Wolfe Herd, saying that the online dating business is at an inflection point. And it seems to me that online dating, as big as it was, 10 years ago, like, people don't do it anymore. Well, I shouldn't say they don't do it anymore. They don't do it as much because our going outside habits have changed since the pandemic. I think you just have more people who are just saying, I'm going to keep it to my world, and I'm just not going, because with the online dating, it was like just kind of casting a wide net and seeing what you could get. Now it just seems like people, since the pandemic, Matt, are just kind of pulling back, inside and pulling back within themselves. And the idea of online dating is just like, even though it made it, I guess, easier, people are just now just like, nah, it's just not for me. I didn't think we'd see a point this quickly where online dating would be looked upon as, nah, I don't want to do that.
Well, the question okay. I feel like for anyone, not even just my age, because I'm, let's say for anyone like 35 and over, right? I feel like you just described the narrative pretty accurately of like habits have changed. COVID really messed everybody up. It's probably just not as popular. Also, we're getting older. What I wonder is, what does this say about the 20-something and 30-something, the 20s and early 30s people who you assume are still dating, right?
Oh, yeah.
And so does it just mean you're only dating the people that you meet in real life like we used to do before internet dating?
Right,
or is it like a troubling sign of the sort of anti-in-person socializing bent that the younger generation reportedly has, and it is a sign of people actually dating less? That's what I would wonder. I have no idea what the answer of that is.
It was on Bomani Jones's show, I think, where he was talking to someone about how the kids who got into their late teens, early 20s around the pandemic, how that just it almost just rewired their brain. And it was already a group that was fairly sort of closed off because they were the social media generation. You
Right.
didn't have to go out and meet people. You could sit in front of your computer and have people in essence come to you, or you could craft your sort of world, your social circle, using various social media apps or what have you. So they were already inclined to not go out and not meet people, even if you could do it, with online dating. But once the pandemic happened and you couldn't, they were just like, oh, I can do this inside thing and just not go out. Oh, okay, I'm cool. And I think we are starting to see the real effect of that. I mean, listen, I don't think anybody's going to miss Bumble when it goes away here fairly shortly. I'm not saying that it's in the world by any stretch of the imagination, but I do think that something was so wildly popular, like online dating, something that was so wildly popular a decade or so ago, is now, having to seriously scale back, and people aren't using it anymore. I think it has a lot to do with the fact that the younger generation, not that they're going back analog and doing it the way we used to do it, going out, going to bars, just putting yourself in social situations, not that they're doing it that way. Maybe there is a little something to that. Maybe they are going a little bit retro, but I think for the most part, these, early 20s, there's other ways they could get stimulation. Let's put it that way. And they don't necessarily have to have other people near them to do it.
And that's really troubling. On the other hand,
yeah, it's frightening for sure.
Hopefully, also there is an element to which they just don't need Bumble, right? Or Tinder or whatever it is, because they're using Twitter and TikTok and things that the olds like us don't understand to meet people and develop relationships in some way. But I'm just in a weird place, and I think you're actually, you're getting closer to being the father of children that are old enough to start dating and having relationships, but I'm still really far from that, and also I feel really far from dating myself. So I could not feel more out of touch with this whole scene and what it really means in any way.
And let's keep it that way.
Yeah, that's the plan.
I'm keep
too
it
old for that.
way.
That's for sure.
Funny story I found. Guy in North Carolina was arrested for throwing a, quote, large unauthorized house party while the homeowners were away on vacation. If this were my house, I would be extraordinarily upset to the point I would want to throw hands on old boy, but it's not my house. So I am very far removed from this situation. I say to old boy right here, you almost pulled off the perfect house party, dog.
Yeah.
That's genius. You cut their lawn. You know they're going to be away.
Yeah.
This seems like a real good time to throw a large soiree. I got to give it to old boy. I had tipped my non-existent cap to you. That's a pretty ingenious move. Except he shouldn't have got caught.
Right. Before I'm prepared to co-sign ingenious, I need to know a little more about the circumstances. Like, did he go into it? Should he have known better? You know what I mean? Did he take the volume? Was it like you're in a quiet suburban neighborhood blasting music with a bunch of cars parked on the street? Like, were you at all careful? Because he
clearly didn't think it through.
No, but like there are ways where bad luck could have happened to anybody. You got caught with a perfect crime, and there are ways where like you did not do this right.
Yeah,
my suspicion it's the latter.
Yeah. You almost pulled it off, but I mean, as far as the idea, like,
not bad, man.
Sense. I remember there were stories, and I'm pretty sure it was stuff that was nationwide, but just seeing it here in Northern California where people, there are, in certain places around here, there are houses that are owned by folks who don't live in this country, and they sit dormant for long periods of time, like months at a time. And kids, high school kids, this was before the pandemic, high school kids would know about these houses and know that they were unoccupied. I'm talking mansions. I'm not talking houses. These were mansions. Yeah. And they were unoccupied for long stretches of time. The people who owned them were back in their country, their home country of origin, or they were traveling the world. And these kids would throw monster ragers at these mansions. And for the most part, they got away with it until the cops either they did it too much, and then the cops kind of got wind of it and shut it down. But for the longest time, you had these kids going to these mansions up in the hills, and I mean, just getting it in. And as an adult, naturally, you'd be like, oh, these kids today have no respect for other people's property and they should be, punished to the full extent of the law. But the child that lives within me, as most anyone who knows me or the people who are listening and watching Quality Hang know, the kid in me was like, that's kind of dope.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I pretty much fully endorse the kids. This guy, like, it's a really perfect crime for a kid because it's like especially if you're just under 18, right?
Yeah.
Like that's a really good one. We're not gonna hold on to that after you turn 18. This is not going on your permanent record. Like, please don't do that again. But also, pretty clever, kid.
That's pretty clever.
Once you cross like 30, and that man does look over 30, it's a little less charming.
It's when you have gray in your beard, it does seem to be a lot more sinister than it does in Christian asking the pertinent question. Maybe he was throwing a freak off. I don't know.
Feels a little less harmless fun, a little more breaking and entering.
But the best place to throw a freak off? In somebody else's house.
I suppose that's true.
I mean, just you don't have to worry about the cleanup.
All things being
okay
equal.
So there you go.
Not my house is for sure.
Oh, speaking of harmless crimes, Diamador Lenore of the San Francisco 49ers got himself slapped with a misdemeanor and just a small amount of jail time early this morning.
Okay, so listen. This is I almost want to read the actual description.
Oh, please do.
That's on ESPN. But before that, I do just want to say that this is one of those moments. I don't often feel like I have a lot in common with Dr. Dre. But, I'm an old man now. I'm a parent. Like, I really don't break the law anymore. And I think that's probably also true of Dr. Dre. He's a billionaire. I don't think he probably... Well, he's breaking the law in white collar ways, I would guess.
Yeah.
More likely.
Right.
But still not loving police.
No.
Me and Dr. Dre both, and these are the moments I realize it because, like, look, I respect police, and good police are the best. Like, we need good police. Too many not good police out there have soured my general feeling towards police, and it's the joy I get out of an arrest like this that make me realize that youthful anti-authoritarian streak is not worn off, because as I read it, Diamador Lenore is basically in trouble for playing keep away with some keys from the police.
Making the police mad.
And I can just picture it, and it's funny. It's a funny scene. It's like I can picture it being in a comedy film. And it seems, look, I don't want to make light of anything that, involves a firearm that I guess may or may not have been appropriately registered, but it doesn't seem like that was even his. He was just like caught the keys from one guy and threw them to another guy. Yeah. And it feels reasonably innocent. Like, if I'm standing there with some buddies, I don't really know what's in his car, but I get it. We're tossing the keys. Well, catch him. I'm laughing. I'm throwing the keys, keep away from the cops. Good times, right? I laughed.
It's a misdemeanor crime if it's a crime at all. So for folks who don't know, Diamador Lenore is down in LA. He's from LA. Yeah. So he's down home in LA, kicking it with the homies. One of the homies got that steal in the car. Okay. What are you gonna do? All right.
You froze again, by the way. I'll read you what the news service report said. According to the Los Angeles Police Department, officers...
A very trustworthy source, by the way.
Of course, exactly. Officers had approached a group that included Lenore and observed a gun inside a parked vehicle. When police asked for the keys, another man tossed them to Lenore. Lenore then threw the keys to a third man who tried to hide them. My suspicion is nobody successfully hid the keys. I think whoever's car that was probably still got in trouble for the gun. That does not seem to be Diamador Lenore.
Yes.
He was just there doing like a little. I can kind of picture him doing a quick, like, I just intercepted the ball, like a quick, juke move, and then toss the keys to the next guy. Like, that's comedy to me.
Hey, what Diamador Lenore proved last night, it's the same thing he proved last year. Great season for Lenore, and what he has proven as he has gone up through the football ranks and continues his football journey. the Amador Lenore is a world-class teammate because
Yeah,
that's a
great
world-class teammate move. One of your homeboys got that thing in the car. Cops are there. I mean, apparently he knows his constitutional rights. That you going? What did Jay-Z know? Say, you're gonna need a warrant for that. So
Yeah.
let's lock it. I got the keys. The Amador, you got the keys. Pitch them off to somebody else.
Whoops.
Like I said, to me, that's good teamwork. So
That's right.
I'm down with the Amador Lenore, who was charged with a misdemeanor and was released from LAPD custody at around 1:00 or so this morning. The owner of the car, who presumably is the owner of the gun, is still in jail. So free to homie. I don't know who he is, but free to homie. I don't know. That's all I got. But no, I think the Amador Lenore just doing what a good teammate does, man.
That's right. Yes.
Yeah.
No, that's absolutely true.
Yeah.
And who doesn't? I mean, if I wasn't going to get arrested, a little keep away from the cops does sound like fun.
You know that cop was pissed.
He has the same
Oh.
face that I have when
Oh.
my son comes downstairs after bedtime and starts running, so I have to chase him.
Yeah, you're only making this worse for yourself.
Right. Oh, come on, man.
Are
You're killing me. I don't want to chase you, bro.
Don't make me do this. It's only going to be worse when I catch you. When that cop saw those keys go from one to another, he got angrier and angrier as those keys transferred from one person to
Come on.
Wait, God damn it. And he just started cuffing people almost indiscriminately. No, and please, because there's got to be, please release the video.
Yes, the video.
Please release the video
of
of the keys playing hopscotch and the law enforcement officer. Oh God, you got to see it. Got to see it. I'm surprised that TMZ doesn't have it already. We continue on this Friday free for all. This is going to be the best thing I heard today, but there's something else that's better. AMC movie theater. Their website is now prominently displaying a reminder that movie showtimes come with 25 to 30 minutes of previews. And I say about that, a couple of things here. A, about time. B, too little, too late, movie industry. We are now in a streaming world, okay? We'll still go to movies every now and again, but it ain't what it used to be. But you should have done this years ago, because there's some people who like previews. I ain't one of them, especially now that you get previews and commercials, which why are you showing me commercials when I just paid to come into the movie theater? Don't get me started. I am not a preview person. For years, one of the most annoying things about the movie going experience is you had to sit through half an hour of previews. And you knew it was about half an hour, but you didn't know exactly. Now knowing it's about 25 to 30 minutes, I say to AMC, good job. You just should have did it decades ago.
Yeah, but also doesn't it, to me, this totally, then just start, now that you're doing this, you might as well just start commercials 25 minutes before showtime. All you're doing is telling me the showtime is actually 25 minutes later, right?
Right,
So
which is all I want.
But but I mean, why even go through the charade then? Aren't you telling us nobody wants this? Aren't you admitting so start the previews 25 minutes, just put the showtime when the movie actually starts up there, and I like previews. I'll show up early anyway.
Oh, you're one of them preview people, huh? Oh my, miss me with that.
I like a preview. I like to know what's coming, especially now that I don't read a newspaper where there's movie reviews, and I don't really watch commercials on TV because I watch most things on delay and skip commercials.
Mm-hmm.
I don't mind this is coming out in a couple months. That could be interesting.
They're all the same. In a world, and then and all of a sudden wizards start flying through the air or something like that.
Well, but that's why it's good when there's one that's a little weird and you're like, oh, interesting.
Now, I just want to know, when's the movie starting?
I just like that they've put the still photo here is of that completely insane Nicole Kidman thing that happens at the beginning of AMC.
That's right. Yeah. By the way, Nicole Kidman and Tom Cruise. Whew.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
they say water seeks and reaches his own level. Those two were absolutely made for each other because he's trying to kill himself on film and
Oh
clearly
my
has been a
god.
deranged person for a long time. And if them ain't crazy eyes on Nicole Kidman, then I don't know what crazy eyes are. Let me tell you something. I know what crazy eyes are, and them some crazy ass eyes right there. So
Yep.
there you go.
Yep. Very crazy. Very, very interesting lady. Good actress.
Which is why she's crazy, because you got to
Yeah.
be crazy in order to be a good actress, and
Yeah.
she is 100% crazy. Let's see here. Did we do everything? I think we did everything. How about we do a little on this date?
Before we do
Uh,
on this date, I want to tell
Yes.
you the mind-blowing thing that my son said to
Oh,
me tonight. I don't know
oh
why
boy.
it registered so specifically, but it was like a thought process that had never
Okay.
occurred to me. I think this is because we went to the Spider-Man exhibit at the Museum of Science and Industry. Very cool stuff. And there was an old cover of I guess there was like a zombie crossover edition of Spider-Man at some point. You know, they've
Sure.
done everything in comics now.
Sure.
So he's had zombies on the mind. You know, he's just turned 6 years old, and that's still a little bit of a frightening thought. So, you know, most nights at bedtime we have a little chat, like anything you want to talk about before you go to bed, sort of thing. And he was like, yeah, are zombies real? And I was like, no, not real at all. Totally fake, you know, as somebody just made it up. And he's like, why did somebody make up or like how? And I was like, well, I don't know. So one day someone was like, wouldn't it be interesting if dead people came back to life and they just wanted to eat brains, and then they made up zombies? And he was like,
whoa, wait. Let me get a 20-second timeout. I don't need a full.
he's familiar with the concept. I did not in that moment introduce him to zombies eating brains.
Okay, because I'm like, wait a minute, dog.
Yeah,
It'd be
no,
hard
he
for a
knows what
grown
zombies
person
are.
to go to sleep with that information, let alone a 6-year-old.
Don't worry, he's already knows. My dad is the sort of grandpa that once he knows they've heard of zombies, starts doing things like brains and chasing them around the house. So he knows.
By the way, please tell your dad I said hello.
I will. Oh, Joey says hi, by the way, too.
Hi, Joey.
She goes to bed before we can get her to watch, but she says hello. So he's asking me like, well, okay, it's made up. Why would someone do that, basically, right?
Which is a fair question.
Yeah, and I was like, well, I guess they just thought it would be interesting, or they wanted to tell a story about it. And he's like, well, I don't want them to be made up. And my brain was like, huh? I was like, wait, you mean you wish they were real? And he goes, no, I don't want them to be real or made up. And what he was saying to me is like, I was like, oh, so you just wish that like the concept of zombies did not exist. He's like, yeah, like why is this a thing that
Okay, all right.
in the world?
I got to tell you,
just
got a
the
little scared
idea of
there.
like, yeah, right. At first I was like, wait a second, why do you want real zombies? No, he's like, I want to uninvent the idea of zombies. And I think this is a new way to think about the things in the world that make us uncomfortable, is like uninvention.
What if we just had never thought about it?
Yeah. I want it. That's what he wants. He wants it to have never been invented.
What if
It's like, man, there's a lot of things in the world that I wish, like, yeah, like what if Hitler just never thought of that?
What if Oppenheimer just simply did not think about using nuclear power as a destructive weapon? Yeah. You know what? Here's what I gotta say. 2 things on that. It's a sweet, sweet boy.
He is a sweet boy.
And
he's in trouble.
I'm a firm believer that yeah. Life's gonna rip him apart. But you know what? That's for you to worry about on your own time. But I'm a firm believer in that. I can say it. It's my show. Shithead kids come from shithead parents for the most part, and the other side is true. Good kids come from good people. So that sweet boy is the product of 2 good and sweet people. And you know what? What went from, in my mind, a harrowing story where a father is talking to his young son about the undead It went from that to me thinking about calling Child Protective Services on you, or at least having them, file a claim so they could come to your crib. Went from that to just a good sweet boy saying, "What if bad things were just never thought about?" And I say to
let's
that,
just uninvent the bad things. Let's uninvent the bad things, everybody. And I will say, let's be responsible and say like 1.5 good people, of which my wife is responsible for like 1 1/3 of the good people. And also, that also means like I got to deliver like a lifetime of anxiety and other emotional problems for him. You know what I'm saying? So
No, he's cooked. It's going to be an issue.
contribution.
But what like now I'm thinking like, what if? Like, do you know how much easier your life would be if the Chicago Bears and their quarterback issues were never a thing for you?
Don't do that. That's
like, what if George Halas was like, I think football is awful and I want nothing to do with it, and your life as a Bears fan would not be as what's the word I'm looking for, awful as it has been for you basically your entire adult life.
Hope springs anew and eternal, Rod. We've got a really talented group of wide receivers and tight ends. The offensive line is remade. We got a Thuney or a Looney, someone that's definitely been a Pro Bowl offensive lineman at some point. Things are looking up, friend. Go Bears.
And you know what? He might just throw for 4,000 yards, which is something a Chicago Bears quarterback has never, ever, ever done.
I mean, the honest to goodness good news for Bears fans and Caleb Williams is the bar is the floor.
The bar is the floor.
Take a nice little hop off the floor. We're going to be feeling really good. And
I mean, really, if you want to be real about it, the bar is subterranean. Like it's not even on the floor. It's actually covered up by years and years of despair. So, like,
I'm in the basement, and we have those like wells. There's basement windows with the wells.
Yeah.
Like it's the bars of the ladder that come down to the basement window. That is.
I'm sorry.
Bears quarterback level.
I'm sorry.
You know what? You don't have to apologize for telling the truth. Never apologize for being a truth teller, Rod.
On this date, June 27th, Queen played their first show in 1970. That's pretty cool,
man.
That's pretty cool. On this date in 1996, H-Town legend DJ Screw. What y'all know about that Screwed and Chopped music dropped? That freestyle mixtape June 27th, and us Houstonians and people in Houston celebrate this day as June 27th, DJ Screw Day. The way people the way people in the Bay Area feel about Mac Dre is the way we H-Town folks feel about DJ Screw. We hate that we lost him, but he is going to absolutely live forever. And he changed the game. He changed the hip hop game. That Screwed and Chopped, went from just an H-Town thing to a regional thing, and then it went coast to coast. And you either were down with it or you weren't. But it was and Screw was truly original, truly H-Town, and yeah, man, he is sorely missed. So yeah, June 27th, 1986. That's when we got June 27th.
It's hard to imagine a more specific, like musical thing associated specifically with a city, right? I was thinking of this today because there's a new Lizzo album, which I had to turn off in the car because the kids were in there, and it got pretty spicy pretty fast. But she made a reference.
The kids can't hear about how she's that bitch now? What? Why are you hiding them from the truth?
Yeah, honestly, they did hear about how she's that bitch. It was the like second or third song when it started to get a little more graphic than that. That I decided to go a different direction. But she did reference the Houstonian tradition of chopping and screwing.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Oh man, on this date, the homie Jason Battle was born. Shout out, Jason Battle. What up, man? Happy birthday to you, brother. On a Friday. Oh
man,
my goodness.
Hey, okay. Yeah. You're just a few months older than me, my friend.
Nice. Happy birthday, my brother. Happiest birthday. So yeah, on this date, June 27th, 1996, DJ Screw dropped that seminal freestyle tape June 27th. And we always end the show with the best thing I heard today as I clear all of this stuff off. The best thing I heard today. You want to go first? You want me to go first? Which one you want to do? Either way.
No, you should go first because I forgot. I should have saved my story about my son for the best thing I heard today.
I mean, well, that's pretty damn good, and that would have been the best thing I heard today. But the best thing I heard today was Public Enemy's got a new album out.
Oh.
Just dropped this morning. Black Sky Over the Projects, Apartment 2025. And here's what's interesting is that for the next couple of days now, not 72 hours, when this was dropped early this morning, you can listen to it on Bandcamp, and you can pay whatever you want. You can pay $1. You pay $100. You can pay whatever you want. But we got a new Public Enemy album out in 2025. And I was saying earlier that, love that. Yeah, I mean, listen, new hip hop, I've aged out of it. It's not for me. I don't hate it. It's just, it's just not something I necessarily vibe to. But you do have older, established hip hop artists coming out with new stuff. Like I mentioned, like we're all anticipating the Clips coming out with their new album. Let God Sort Them Out on July 11th. Slick Rick put some stuff out. Too Short put an album out earlier this year. I think we're going to get somebody else. I forgot who it was, but Public Enemy is they are following in those footsteps. And I think, Matt, that hip hop is a much better place when you can have these new Thundercats out there, like the XXL freshman of 25 class we were talking about. None of those names we understood. There you go, baby. 1900 Rugrat. Like there's a place for them. And there's also a place for old school artists, because hip hop should not be the one musical genre where you age out of it. The artists age out of it. Well, when you get to the age of 40, then you're no longer worth listening to. If you don't have anything to say, then you don't have anything to say. But just because you reach a certain age doesn't mean that you can't rock the mic. So I'm biased. I'm a Public Enemy fan, as you can tell by the shirt. And they are my favorite hip hop group. But to see them get active and to see older hip hop acts get active, along with these new cats and what Kendrick is doing, I think that's much better for hip hop than like, nah, man, it's just a young man's game, and if you don't like it, you're too old. Like I think hip hop can be better than that.
Yeah, man. I think the idea that you age out of hip hop is related to the idea that like hip hop is just noisy hood music. You know what I mean? It's like the wrong view. The only way that would be true is if people can't mature. Like when Mick Jagger was 25 years old, he was singing about brown sugar, and that wouldn't look so good on an 85-year-old man either. You know what I mean? Like, everything changes as you age, right? Yep. Your art changes as you age, but I totally agree with you. There's no reason that of all genres, hip hop has to only be for the kids. And obviously, I don't know if Chuck D was ever totally for the kids. If you listen to what he's actually talking about, the man has been on the same sort of political bent for most of his career, and it's serious. He's not messing around. So yeah, I'm excited to listen.
And what we found out is that he was right, and Public Enemy was right then. By the way, tomorrow is the 37th anniversary of, I think, the greatest hip hop album of all time, A Nation of Millions. It takes a nation of millions to hold us back. It was released on June 28th, 1988.
That's your number one hip hop album of all time.
Fascinating. Absolutely. So, I mean, let me tell you something, dog.
Fascinating.
The first time I heard Rebel Without a Pause, I couldn't comprehend it. It was.
See, this is the generation gap right here.
Yeah. It hit, and what they were saying, what they were putting down, I never heard anything like it. So, and I'm not just talking about the sonically. Sonically, it was unlike anything anybody had ever heard. With the Bomb Squad just being as incredible as they are, putting all those crazy loud pieces together and bumping up the beats per minute. But obviously what Chuck and Flav, but more specifically Chuck D, what he was talking about. I didn't know who Joan Chesimard was.
Right.
But I found out through Public Enemy.
Right. All of a sudden it's educational.
All of a sudden it's educational. And I think it was Tom Morello who said, what made Public Enemy so great was you had Chuck with that baritone dropping some really heavy shit on you. Really heavy stuff. And he was critical of the United States government. He was critical of how certain segments of Black America were moving. So he was saying some pretty heavy stuff, but Flavor Flav was, as Tom Morello said,
a little less serious.
He was the sugar that made the medicine go down.
Yeah.
And that's the perfect way to describe them. So yeah, it hit me, at the absolute right time, in my adolescence. And how it is, the things that made an impression on you when you were a teenager or young adult, those are always going to be near and dear to your heart because they remind you of better times and remind you of growing up. So yeah, that's why it's my favorite album. But I mean, there's a reason when they talk about greatest hip hop albums of all time or talk about greatest albums, over the last half of the 20th century, that It Takes a Nation of Millions to Hold Us Back, which was released 37 years ago tomorrow. There's a reason that bad boy is always on people's lists.
I mean, it's great. It's in the mix. I just, it's not one that I think I would have thrown up there. But honestly, like, those things are so hard for me. I don't know. Even if you confine it to one genre, even if you confine it to like one decade of one genre, I have such a hard time picking favorites. And I always feel like it depends when you ask me. You know what I mean?
And there's nothing wrong with that.
Like, I don't know. Right now, the thing that jumped to my head when I was thinking, what is my favorite hip hop album of all time? The thing that jumped into my head was Reasonable Doubt. But there was a time when I wasn't even the biggest Jay-Z guy. You know what I mean? It's just, there was a time when I would have said Ready to Die so fast. That's the one. And it just, God, there's a lot of good music out there, folks.
Yeah, but I mean, that's the thing is you can be dogmatic that that I have to have or you have to have a favorite album, or you can say, hey man, it's however I feel. Like there is no wrong answer.
Yeah,
as long as you have an answer, there is no wrong answer, and pretty much everybody's got an answer. Everybody's got a favorite, whether it's a favorite that they've been rocking with for decades, or whether it's a favorite because the ambient temperature outside is at a certain number.
Illmatic is a great
don't matter because it's great. It's always great hanging out with you, my brother, and as always, because it is a quality hang with you, Matt Kolsky, you are welcome back in this bad boy anytime. Do you hear me?
Yeah, of course I do. And I just give me a call. You know where to find me.
Oh man, exactly. And that's what
I might upgrade the studio too, by which I mean I might get a desk behind where I'm sitting and move closer to the wall so you don't have to see like the edge of the pool table.
No, I love that. We were talking about the old style clock behind you, but the best thing about your basement is that Jordan free throw line dunk poster. And I have one and it's framed. I just don't have anywhere to put it.
Yeah, well, the nice thing about the, sports watching and record listening den that my wife rarely makes it down to is she's not too picky about the decor.
You are living the life, my brother. You are absolutely living the life. Hey, before we go, we just want to once again thank our presenting sponsor, Hop Monk Taverns, 3 locations to choose from, and they all do the same great things. Great food from a diverse menu, great craft beer selection, and live music at all 3 venues, whether it's touring artists from around the country or whether it's local artists. At Hop Monk, they are big on live music. So to see what they have going on as far as the upcoming live music schedule at all 3 venues, Sonoma, Sebastopol, and Novato, check them out online at hopmonk.com or just stop by. My brother, it was a quality hang. We will talk down the road and we will get you in the mix down the road. And the folks in the comments, man, they remember you from the KMBR and 95.7 days. So they are happy to see you in the mix as well. And to the quality hangers in the comments, y'all really do turn it up on a Friday night. It is. y'all be in the chat getting it in. We love it.
Yeah, shout out to everybody. I obviously love talking to Rod, and like I said last time, this is the only time I really get to talk to him for like 60 to 80 minutes in a row. Usually we got too much going on. So this is as good as it gets. Hang out with my friend
man.
for an hour.
Yeah, it's just like the good old days, and we're gonna make some new good days. My brother, peace and blessings to the family, and we will talk down the road. How about it?
Yes, sir.
All right, and to everybody again, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening, and to all the quality hangers in the chat, thank you so much for getting active and participating. We will see you on Monday at 8 o'clock. Marcus will be back in the mix as he recovers. Oh, can't wait to tell you about how he injured himself.
Oh,
All right,
no.
you want to talk about somebody not understanding that, hey, at a certain age, there's certain things you can't do. We got to get Marcus in shape because it ain't the good old days no more. So we'll get into that on Monday at 8 o'clock. We'll see you then. And as always, have a great weekend. Be good and be good at it. We'll see you.